Let me tell you something that your doctor probably hasn't told you. Right now, at this very moment, 95% of men over 60 are doing something every single day that is actively destroying their testosterone levels. And the worst part? Most of them think it's healthy. They're exercising. They're watching their diet. They're trying to age gracefully. And yet, their testosterone is still dropping at 1 to 2% every year after 30, accelerating dramatically after 60. Here's the science that stopped me cold. A landmark 2019 study published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism followed over 2,400 men and found that men with low testosterone were 58% more likely to die from any cause within the study period. Not from testosterone deficiency itself, but from everything it silently causes: cardiovascular disease, cognitive decline, metabolic dysfunction, and loss of lean muscle mass. 58%. That is not a side effect. That is a slow biological emergency most men don't even know they're living inside. But here's what I'm going to show you today, and this changes everything. Your body at 60, 65, even 70 still has the complete biological machinery to produce meaningful amounts of testosterone. It hasn't broken down. It hasn't surrendered. It has simply been given the wrong signals. Today, I'm going to give you the right signals. Here's exactly what we're covering. Part 1. The sleep protocol that can raise testosterone by up to 15% in 3 weeks. Part 2. The specific type of exercise that triggers a hormonal cascade, and it's not what most men over 60 are doing. Part 3. The nutritional architecture your Leydig cells are literally starving for. Part 4. The stress hormone that is chemically stealing your testosterone every single day. And at the very end, your bonus point, the game changer. One deceptively simple habit that amplifies everything else by a factor of 2. Most men will skip it because it sounds too easy. Don't be most men. Stay with me. The sleep protocol. Your testosterone factory works the night shift. Let me introduce you to Minh, 67 years old, retired engineer from Hanoi. Minh was doing everything right. He walked 8,000 steps a day, ate lean proteins, avoided sugar. But his testosterone was at 210 nung, DL barely above clinical deficiency. When we looked at his sleep data, the answer was obvious. He was getting 6 hours a night and most of it was fragmented. He thought that was normal for his age. It is common. It is not normal. And it was costing him his hormonal health. Here's the mechanism your body doesn't explain to you. Between 11 p.m. and 3 a.m., your hypothalamus sends a signal called gonadotropin-releasing hormone, GnRH. This tells your pituitary gland to release luteinizing hormone, LH. LH travels through your bloodstream to your testes, where it docks onto specialized cells called Leydig cells. And those cells manufacture testosterone. Think of it like a factory shift. Your Leydig cells are the workers. LH is the work order. And deep sleep, specifically, stages 3 and 4, also called slow-wave sleep, is the electricity that runs the entire factory. No deep sleep? The factory runs at 20% capacity. A 2011 study in JAMA showed that men who slept only 5 hours per night for 1 week had testosterone levels 10–15% lower than their baseline. 1 week. That's not chronic sleep deprivation. That's Tuesday through Monday. Execution protocol sleep for testosterone. Target: 7 to 8.5 hours of total sleep. Sleep onset: before 10:30 p.m. to align with the GnRH pulse window. Temperature: keep your bedroom at 65–68 degrees Fahrenheit, 18–20 degrees Celsius. Cool rooms dramatically increase deep sleep duration. Light blocking: total darkness or an eye mask, even dim light, suppresses melatonin and disrupts the hormonal cascade. No screens. Stop blue light exposure. 90 minutes before bed, use blue light glasses or switch to red spectrum lighting. Minh implemented this protocol for 3 weeks. His testosterone rose from 210 to 287 ng/dl, a 36% increase. No pills. No injections. Just the right signals at the right time. You now understand the night shift factory. But what you don't know yet is what happens inside your muscles during the day that can make those Leydig cells work twice as hard. That's next. The right kind of exercise triggering the hormonal cascade. Host speaks directly to camera, slightly leaning forward. You might be thinking, my joints are too worn down for intense exercise. I hear this constantly, and I want to address it head on because this objection is costing men years of their hormonal health. Research from Sports Medicine, 2015, confirms that men in their 60s and 70s who perform appropriately scaled resistance training show the same relative hormonal response as men in their 30s. Your joints don't need to be 30 years old. Your movements need to be intelligent. Here's what's happening biologically. When you perform compound resistance movements, squats, deadlifts, rows, presses, you activate type 2 muscle fibers, the fast twitch fibers that are metabolically expensive. This signals the hypothalamic pituitary gonadal HPG axis to ramp up testosterone output as a biological response to perceived physical demand. Think of it this way. Your body is constantly asking, do we still need to be strong? Long walks say maybe. Heavy compound lifts say absolutely yes. Additionally, intense exercise triggers growth hormone release from the pituitary, which works synergistically with testosterone. They are co-signatories on the same rebuilding contract. You may be wondering, but what about joint pain, arthritis, past injuries? Here's the scientific reframe. Resistance training with proper load management has been shown to reduce articular cartilage degeneration by improving synovial fluid circulation. Movement is medicine. Stillness is deterioration. The 60-plus hormonal training blueprint. Frequency: 3 sessions per week. Mon, Wed, free, with full rest days between. Exercises: choose from compound patterns: goblet squat, Romanian deadlift, seated cable row, dumbbell chest press, band-resisted hip hinge. Loading: 70–85% of your estimated 1-rep max, the weight where you could only do 6–10 reps. Sets: 3–4 sets per exercise. Rest between sets: 90–120 seconds. This rest window preserves the acute testosterone spike. Duration per session: 45 minutes. Maximum past 60 minutes. Cortisol begins to rise and testosterone drops. Warm-up: 8 minutes of dynamic mobility. Hip circles, thoracic rotations, band pull-aparts. If you are brand new to resistance training, begin with body weight only for the first 4 weeks, then add resistance progressively. What type of exercise are you currently doing? Tell me below. Just write walk, weights, both, or nothing yet. I read every single comment, and your answer will help me create the next video specifically for your situation. The exercise gives your body the demand signal, but your Leydig cells can't manufacture testosterone from nothing. They need specific raw materials, and most men over 60 are critically short of at least 2 of them. That's exactly what Part 3 reveals. Nutritional architecture: feeding your hormone factory. Robert, 71, from Chicago. Retired. Firefighter. Proud of his heart-healthy diet, low-fat, whole grains, plenty of fruits. His testosterone? 198. No. DL. When I reviewed his nutrition log, the problem was clear. Robert had accidentally starved the very molecules his body needs to build testosterone. Because testosterone is a steroid hormone, and steroid hormones are made from one foundational molecule, cholesterol. Not the enemy your cardiologist warned you about in 1995, but the structural precursor to every sex hormone in your body. When dietary fat drops too low, your Leydig cells lose their primary construction material. The assembly line stops. A 2021 meta-analysis in Nutrients confirmed that men on diets with fat comprising less than 20% of total calories had significantly lower testosterone than men eating 35–40% fat, provided the fat sources were high quality. The 3 nutritional pillars for testosterone synthesis. Pillar 1. Healthy fats. The raw material: extra virgin olive oil, avocado, whole eggs, fatty fish, sardines, mackerel, salmon, grass-fed beef. Target: 35–40% of daily calories from these fat sources. Pillar 2. Zinc, the enzymatic cofactor. Zinc is required for the enzyme that converts cholesterol into testosterone's precursor in the Leydig cell. Think of zinc as the key that starts the ignition. Best sources: oysters. Highest zinc food on earth: pumpkin seeds, beef, dark chicken meat. Target: 11 milligrams, day minimum. Most men over 60 are getting 6 milligrams. Note: alcohol and chronic stress both actively deplete zinc, a critical intersection we'll revisit. Pillar 3. Vitamin D3, the hormonal co-regulator. Vitamin D3 is not a vitamin. It is a prohormone that directly regulates gene expression in Leydig cells. A 2011 study in Hormone and Metabolic Research found that men supplementing with 3,332 IU of vitamin D3 daily for 1 year showed a 25% increase in testosterone versus placebo. Target: 3,000–5,000 IU D3 daily, taken with fat for absorption. K. 2 optional but synergistic. Execution protocol: daily nutritional foundation. Breakfast: 3 whole eggs, plus avocado, plus sardines, or smoked salmon. Lunch: grass-fed beef or fatty fish, plus large leafy green salad, with olive oil dressing plus pumpkin seeds. Dinner: varied protein source, plus cruciferous vegetables, broccoli, cauliflower. These contain compounds that reduce estrogen clearance burden in the liver. Supplement: vitamin D3, 3,000–5,000 IU with largest meal. Your factory now has the workers, the electricity, and the raw materials. But there's one saboteur working against you 24 hours a day. An invisible chemical that is directly competing with your testosterone at the cellular level. Part 4 exposes it completely. The cortisol. Assassin. Stress biology you can actually defeat. Here is a biochemical fact that will reframe how you think about stress forever. Testosterone and cortisol are made from the same precursor molecule, pregnenolone. They are, in a very real sense, biological competitors. When your body perceives chronic stress and ramps up cortisol production, it literally redirects that shared precursor away from testosterone synthesis. Scientists call this the pregnenolone steal, and it is one of the most underappreciated mechanisms of testosterone decline in men over 60. Cortisol also directly suppresses the hypothalamic signal, GnRH, that starts the entire hormonal cascade we discussed in Part 1. It is working against you at the very top of the chain. And here's what makes this treacherous. The stressors don't have to be dramatic. Financial worry. Social isolation, a critical issue for men after retirement. Chronic low-grade inflammation from poor sleep or diet. Unresolved grief. These are all cortisol triggers. A 2016 study in psychoneuroendocrinology found that men with the highest chronic cortisol levels had testosterone levels on average 33% lower than men with well-regulated stress biology. This is not weakness. This is chemistry. Execution protocol: cortisol regulation stack. Morning sunlight. 10–15 minutes of outdoor light within 30 minutes of waking. This anchors your cortisol morning peak and helps it decline naturally throughout the day. Physiological sigh. 2x daily inhale fully through the nose, then a second short inhale to fully inflate lungs, then a long, slow exhale through the mouth. This is the fastest known method to downregulate the sympathetic nervous system. Takes 30 seconds. Social connection. A 2010 Harvard study across 300,000 participants found social isolation as damaging to mortality as smoking 15 cigarettes per day. For men specifically, social withdrawal after 60 is a cortisol amplifier. Maintain at least 3 genuine social interactions per week. Nature exposure. 20 minutes in a natural environment, park, forest, garden, reduces cortisol, measurably confirmed. In Frontiers in Psychology, 2019, alcohol, the hidden cortisol bomb. Even moderate alcohol, 2–3 drinks per day, raises cortisol, disrupts sleep architecture, and directly suppresses LH production. If testosterone is a priority, alcohol is the first variable to reconsider. Here it is. The one thing that makes everything else work harder. Cold exposure specifically. Cold water applied to your scrotum for 30–60 seconds during your morning shower. Before you click away, stay with me. This is not bro science. Your Leydig cells, the testosterone producers we've referenced throughout this video, function optimally at 2–4 degrees Celsius below core body temperature. That's why the testes are located outside the body cavity. This is an evolutionary design, not an accident. Modern life sedentary postures, tight clothing, heating, prolonged sitting chronically elevates scrotal temperature, impairing Leydig cell efficiency. A 1,988 study in International Journal of Andrology and subsequent replications confirmed that sustained scrotal heat elevation reduces testosterone output by up to 20%. The protocol is this simple. End every morning shower with 30-60 seconds of the coldest water directed at your lower abdomen and groin. Not painful, not extreme, just cold. This amplifies the effectiveness of every other protocol in this video because your testosterone-producing cells are now operating at their design temperature. 1 dial. Maximum compounding effect. Most men who clicked on this video watched 30 seconds and moved on. You are not most men. You just gave yourself something that took researchers decades to piece together. A complete biological framework for naturally reclaiming your hormonal health after 60. Not hacks, not supplements with flashy labels, not testosterone injections. The actual signals, the actual mechanisms, the actual protocols. You are now in the 5% of men who understand that aging is not the same as decline, that your body is still listening for the right commands. Here's your action plan starting today. Adjust your sleep window in bed by 10:30 p.m. Bedroom at 65-68 degrees Fahrenheit. Add resistance training 3x per week compound movements, 45 minutes max. Restructure your nutrition fat at 35-40%. Add zinc and D3. Build your cortisol regulation stack, morning light, physiological sigh, social connection. End every shower with 60 seconds of cold water to the groin. Every morning. If this video gave you one insight that changes your next week, drop a comment below. Write the one thing you're changing first. That comment might be exactly what someone else needs to see. Subscribe not for the videos. Subscribe for the version of yourself you're building. Every week, we go deeper into the science of thriving past 60. Not surviving, not managing decline, thriving. Because 60 is not the finish line. 60 is where the real game begins.